FLPDjobs.com. That's FLPDjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sportsgrill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sportsgrill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sportsgrill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sportsgrill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Love it, love it, love it. And welcome aboard. We are ready to rock and roll on the final day of the regular season for the Miami Dolphins, that is, as we get you ready live from Sportsgrill. Really nice open there, Sean. Nice job by you, sir. I like it. I like it. I like it. Wait a minute. I like the fading in and out and all that stuff of the you didn't connect your own mic? Is that the thing? Maybe you're here. No? I love live radio. There's nothing like live radio.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. There you go.
What happened was we were on the 7-game win streak, and I didn't want to touch anything. So
okay.
it had still said, which I know you caught me a couple times, and all the viewers had caught it as well, Miami Lakes.
Yes.
Because I had not changed it because I was worried that would jinx. And then once they lost, then I just tore it all out.
Right. Then
so now it's free game.
Okay.
I wasn't going to be the cause.
Okay. I got you now. All right. Okay. Well, smart. That's, you don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean? I mean, the listeners wanted us to stay here and not go to Doral next year if we ran the table. You know what I mean? But that's not going to happen. Next year we will be at Doral. Yes, we will be at Doral Sportsgrill for next season. And we got a lot of things planned for next season. It's going to be a lot of giveaways. We're going to have we're going to make it a really, really fun time over at the Doral location next year. We're going to take it to another level. As I promised you, this will continue to grow as sponsors, which, by the way, I am wearing today my Perdomo Army shirt because Perdomo Cigars is a brand new sponsor of our program. This week, OK Coin, the cryptocurrency exchange, becomes a sponsor of ours, and Perdomo Cigars also becomes a sponsor of ours. And you never know, there might be a really fine liquor joining us this coming week. You just never know. There's liquors go great with cigars. So, that's kind of what it is. So we appreciate it. And as we continue to grow, we will continue to make this thing bigger and bigger and bigger. So we appreciate all of you out there, as always, for supporting us here on the program. Come on out, man, to Sportsgrill, Bird Road and 114th. I know it's a bitter, it's all bitter today, right? It's hard to find anything sweet about today unless they beat the Patriots. And that's the only thing that would be sweet, because obviously anytime you can beat the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets, you definitely want to win those kind of games. An opportunity to sweep them, which hasn't happened in forever. All of those kind of things in today's matchup. So a lot of us, that's the only thing that you kind of hope for, and I talked a little bit about it earlier this week. I do have some trepidations, as they say, about this game. I do have some fears about this game because let me give you an example. Last year, 2 years ago, when Flo and company took over, well, it was a disaster, right? 0-7. They were getting killed the first couple of games, and then they were getting better and better. Even while they were losing, they were getting better and better, and you can see it. And then eventually it broke through, and they started to win, and then the winning became infectious. And obviously you had something to play for. You were playing to prove to people that you can play a whole bunch of no-name guys, unheralded guys, all that kind of stuff. And they went 5-4 and beat the Patriots at the end of the year, basically to end the dynasty, because Tom Brady left after that. And they had to settle for the wild card week, and they didn't get a bye week because of that. So you were playing for something. Last year, you were playing for a playoff spot. And so you were trying to fight for that playoff spot down the stretch at the end. Fell short, obviously, the Bills, all that stuff. We all know how it ended. This year, you're not playing for anything. This year, you had your opportunity at the playoffs. You blew your opportunity at the playoffs by losing last week. And not only did you lose, you lost in just an ugly fashion. So now that creates a problem for you now. And so this week, this is the one thing that I am worried about. At this point, I've told this story before about, my final year at QAM, that I knew for 11 months that I was going to get fired. I knew it. I told people in the building and everything, and all that. Oh, you're crazy. This, that. You got listenership. You got sponsors. There's no way they would do this. And it's like, you don't understand this business. And so eventually I got, canned. And you wonder how many of the guys going into the game today know they're going to get canned. And so it's not that they're not going to go out there and try, because there's only a couple of those idiots, really. Most guys are professionals, just like you are at your job. Most of us that have a job, we take pride in whatever we do. I don't care if you're making hangers, or you're making clocks, or you're designing roofs, or you're delivering the mail, or you're on radio, or you're a teacher. When you're a pro, and you try to do your job, whatever it is, at the best of your abilities. And I think guys will end up most of all, but it's going to get to a point, because it's only human nature, that if there's a point in this game where it just gets a little out of control, it's not that you're not trying anymore. It's just that motivation is not nearly there like it was. And it's just one of those things. You know what I mean? And I know, because I would go to work and I would do my job always, but I knew the person that was kind of after me, and I knew my option was up. So it's not like when I would do my job, but then when I look at that specific person, it's like, I hate doing my job for this idiot, that kind of stuff. So you wonder, is that going to be a problem today? Will the New England Patriots try to run the hell out of the ball to break Miami's will? And will Miami's will then be broken? And after getting thumped last week, what happens this week? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that I am going to be a little nervous about today. And I'm hoping that the team comes out with the kind of fire they need to at least make it a game, or possibly win. Would be really, really nice. Look, let's be honest now. This game is not deciding anything. Okay? It's not deciding whether you think Flo can coach or not. Your mind is already made up on that one. I know mine is. This game is, Tua can throw for 500 yards or 150 yards. Everybody's mind is made up one way or another on Tua, whether you believe he can play or he can't, right? Mine's made up already. I don't need, if he has 500 yards and 5 touchdowns today, I'm going to say, wow, that was fun. That was cool to watch Tua. But anybody that comes out of it and says, oh, okay, you weren't a believer of Tua, but then the 500-yard game today, you would say, oh, no, now I'm a believer. Come on, dude. It's ridiculous. It just is. So this one game is not going to decide whether you have a good offense or a good offensive coordinator or a bad offensive coordinator or a good offensive line or a bad offensive line or a good quarterback or a bad quarterback or a future quarterback or a non-future quarterback or the real head coach or the non-real head coach. None of that is going to be decided today. None of it. You've had 3 years to decide what you think about Flo and how he handles everything. Right? You've had a little over 20 games to see Tua. You can make your own decisions on that right now if you want. You've watched Austin Jackson enough. So if Austin Jackson goes out today and pancakes 4 fools today, what are you saying? Then all of a sudden he's made it? No. Had a good game. And that's one of the things that I've said my entire life on radio. Professionals, doesn't matter who they are, can have a good week, a good month, and a good year. The really good ones are the ones that can do it year in and year out. Those are the really good ones. Those are the ones you find out whether they can do it or they can't. Okay? And that's how, at least for me, that's how I use the track record on it. So today is really not about trying to find out, whether you can or can't.
Hey, an update on some games that matter early on. The Colts trail the Jaguars 13-3 at halftime. If they lose and the Steelers win, they are in, and right now the Steelers and Ravens are 3-3 at halftime.
Wow.
So there's a chance that the Steelers could still squeak in.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just texting right now the wife at the same time while I'm talking. By the way, I did grab the phone. The good thing is, by the way, though, it's nice to see the market just absolutely bounce back, baby. Damn. And Bitcoin's already making it up to 43. Just, not that any of us are geniuses, because I always tell you this, and I give you my little OK coin corner segment on a Sunday, which I didn't really plan to do. But it's funny how I talked about it during the week that with crypto, you've got to be patient. But one of the tricks, don't ever listen to anybody that tells you they know when the bottom is and when the top is. And they tell you, okay, listen, you need to sell at this point because this is when it's going to peak. Nobody knows when something's going to peak and when something's going to really bottom out. And so for those of you that kind of follow this, and 42 has been a hard floor for Bitcoin, right? And it fell under the 42. And I don't know about you, but I took advantage personally in the 41K area a couple of times myself. And so, because I thought that again, nobody's a genius, but I thought maybe right here in the 41K area is where this thing's going to bottom out and maybe now start to catapult and boomerang back up again. And maybe now we're finally going to get, because the exchanges are running out of Bitcoin. They're running out of Ethereum. Not that they're out, they have, but they are at their lowest levels that they've been in since, I think it's like 4 or 5 years now, or 6 years or something. It's one of those deals. And the miners are all collecting their Bitcoin. They're not selling off their Bitcoin. So then something gives. The miners now, what they're doing is, believe it or not, the miners are borrowing on their Bitcoin because obviously you're going to get it at an incredibly low rate, the interest compared to banks. And then they're buying more mining equipment. They used to sell their Bitcoin, some of it, to buy more mining equipment. But knowing that we're getting closer and closer to the 21 million coins, and by 2040, you'll have most of the coins, and then it'll take like another 10 or 20 years to like finish off the last 1% or 2 or 3% of the coins or something. It's something really low, but it's one of those things. And as I tell all of you, you have to be patient and you have to play the game and you cannot panic, because if you know what the big picture is, eventually it's just going to skyrocket, because this is going to be the currency of the world. It's just the inevitable, Those that don't know about it will deny it. Those that are stuck in the past will get run over, which is usually what happens in life. If you get stuck in the past, you get run over. So you look at it now and it's bouncing to 43. Any of you that hit it in the 41 area, even 42, you were smart, because it looks like that was the floor right now and it's starting to go back up. We'll see. Maybe there's another retraction. You know what I mean? Maybe there is. But, it's just one of those deals. Patience, folks. Patience. When you can, it's going to be the same thing as Amazon, as in Tesla, all Microsoft. It doesn't matter. All these kind of incredible stocks that there's going to be some fluctuations in times, but eventually it's just going to continue to climb over time. Same thing in the crypto market, because that is the future stock market, the crypto market. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I tell you, patience. And if you're patient and if you're aggressive and if you don't panic, and by the way, I feel bad for the retail people, which that's people like us that sold because they panicked and they end up losing money. Look, man, I have some Bitcoin at 50. So that means I'm not making money on that when I'm losing a little. But when you buy it again at 41, you're lowering your overall price. You understand? And that's kind of what you do. You don't panic when there's blood on the streets, as they say. That's when you go out and you're aggressive. Okay? You don't buy when things are parabolic. You wait. You save your money and wait for the dip. And then the dip always comes. And when the dip comes, that's when you take advantage. Don't be FOMOing in when things are going parabolic. So it's nice to see that the market has bounced back in a nice way here, and it's incredibly green. And the weekends lately have kind of been a bloodbath, whereas the weekends used to be, earlier in the year or last year, earlier in the year, they were actually very profitable. They've been kind of a little negative the last couple of weeks. Right now, Bitcoin is up to 42,758. It is going parabolic right now in the last couple of hours here. So those of you that were able to take advantage, you're good, man. You are good. All right, let's get to Joe Shad, baby, and our American Dream Lending.com Miami Dolphins Insider Report.
Dolphins fans, buckle up. It's time for the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins Report with Joe Shad. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. Call them at 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. Here's Joe Shad with today's edition of the American Dream Lending Report.
Is the man, the myth, the legend that is Joe Shad. Joe, how you feeling this Sunday afternoon, my friend? That you got to sleep in a little bit more today.
A little bit, Big O, a little bit. It's unfortunate that this game doesn't, count for much, but at least the previous 16 did. So it could have been worse.
I was talking about this, Joe, that I'm a little worried because, in the first year, you're 0-7 and you're gung-ho and a whole bunch of young guys and unknowns and unheralded guys, and they're all trying to prove themselves, so they got a chip on their shoulders, and finally they start figuring things out, and they start winning games, and they go 5-4 and knock out the Patriots. Second season, you start slow again, but you're able to recover, and you're on your way to maybe even challenging for a playoff spot. Unfortunately, you run out of gas at the end, and you can't get in. This year, you were, again, terrible start, but on the trajectory of trying to set yourself up for the playoffs, and in a thumping last week at the hands of the Titans. And so now I really wonder if this team today doesn't have the motivation. I'm not saying I don't believe in tanking. I don't believe players go out there and quit. That's on their resume, the film. You're around these guys. You know that there's only a couple of those kind of guys in every locker room that might quit on teams. Most everybody else is a professional like you that does their job to the best of their ability every single day. But human nature, just you let your guard down when you don't have something on the line almost. And I do worry about that with this team, that if the Patriots do break their will, let's say running the ball today and keeping Mac on short yardage situations and keeping him on a positive, I don't know if the will of the Dolphins will last for 4 quarters. Your thoughts?
Yeah,
on
I think if you see that, it's going to be sort of like what we saw at the end of the last game, which is where in the end of the third quarter and throughout the fourth quarter, there was some demoralization that could be sensed in terms of their inability to stop the run. It was like a dam that broke.
Right.
I do think so. There is the possibility of laying an emotional egg with the playoffs out of reach. There are some things working for the Dolphins in their favor today. One, they're playing a rival in the New England Patriots. Nobody likes Bill Belichick. You want to try to sweep the Patriots, which is something that hasn't happened in a very long time, 2 decades. You want to try to finish with a winning record. I do think that matters. I'm not suggesting that the players care more about finishing with a 9-8 record than they do perhaps hitting a few of those contract incentives that could give them $25 grand, $50 grand, $200 grand. Xavier Howard, for example, needs to be on the field for like 90% of snaps today in order to receive one of those big playing time bonuses. And players have those in their contract, so there are some self-motivation things with the contract too. I think that Dolphins will be in this game emotionally. I think that Brian Flores and his staff, one of the things they do pretty well is keep the team in a good frame of mind mentally. But I agree with you. If things unravel, in my mind, it'll unravel in the fourth quarter, and you'll see that Ramondre Stevenson dude or Damian Harris, if he's playing, two physical, tough dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dolphins watched Stevenson up close in the Senior Bowl. I thought he would have been a guy who would look good in a Dolphins uniform. They passed on all those running backs. They passed on a lot of players that they coached in the Senior Bowl who are having good rookie seasons. If they are broken, it'll be in the fourth quarter.
You don't really feel like a running back really was going to make a difference on this team, right?
Well, it could have helped. Guys like
Barry Sanders,
Stevenson,
you mean? Barry Sanders? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
is there a Barry Sanders out there? Because I don't see any back that was going to overcome this terrible offensive line, Joe.
So why, in your opinion, have Philip Lindsay and Duke Johnson performed better than Myles Gaskin and Savon Ahmed? Perhaps, while it's mostly the offensive line's fault, perhaps those guys could have done a little better than 3 yards or so per carry.
Yeah, that's fine. And the sun shines on every dog's ass every once in a while. That doesn't mean that they were going to have great seasons. No running back unless you're Barry Sanders, unless you're Ricky Williams. And I don't look at any of those guys.
What about Jonathan Taylor? The Dolphins passed on him.
Yeah, they did pass on him. And I don't know. But wait a minute. Do you see the line that he runs behind, Joe? That's one of the 3 best offensive lines in the NFL. Their one guard is better than all 5 linemen that Miami have. Their guard. Just one guard. I'll take the one guard over all 5 Dolphin linemen. Come on, man.
I understand that the Indianapolis Colts have a very good offensive line. Are they going to miss out on the playoffs and lose to the Jaguars today? Is that going down? Let's keep an eye on that.
I don't know.
Listen, no, but here's the point. The point is they should have added a running back. Obviously, Tua over Justin Herbert was an unfortunate error, a grandiose, massive mistake, a miscalculation. But it's also been a mistake to pass on some running backs like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it's also a mistake to go with 4 young linemen and a journeyman on your line. It's also a mistake to have 3 offensive coordinators that don't know what the hell they're doing. It's also a mistake to have an offensive line coach that his head is spinning like a bobblehead and has no business being anywhere on the higher level of college football, much less the NFL. You know, it also doesn't help that you have an inexperienced quarterbacks coach. You know what I mean? And then you do that in front of an inexperienced quarterback. You know what I mean? There's a lot of crap that doesn't make sense that they did. They kind of set themselves up for failure this year. And you would have put all that inexperienced in front of another inexperienced running back who is not going to have the same kind of success that you would see in another area or another team that is much more developed.
I understand your point, but I would ask you this. Do you agree with me that within the last 3-4 years, the Dolphins should have drafted a running back higher than the 7th round? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so we agree. It
wouldn't hurt, but
so we agree.
But my theory has always been that I think they wanted to develop the line and the quarterback first.
No,
and then instead of wearing out the running back over the first couple of years behind a bad line, and since most running backs are really one contract guys anyways, that's the problem. So, you know, to me, that's the thing that really kind of, sets them back in all of this. So, to me, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm just frustrated with all of this because I think that they've gone in a terrible angle or in a terrible way of building this offense for a quarterback that needed an offensive line and a running game, and a head coach that is not set to put this guy in a position to succeed. And again, if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you want to get a limited quarterback like Lamar Jackson, then you need to build around that limited quarterback because he's not a good passer. And they've done that. And if you're going to get a limited Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback because he can only be a game manager for you, well, then you've got to build around him the right way in order for you to at least succeed with him. These are two guys that are never going to carry you with their arms. But the two franchises were smart enough to build around them so they can be somewhat successful with those two guys. These people have completely failed. You grabbed the guy and you didn't know how to build around him. And that started with the line. That started with your coaching.
They drafted Austin Jackson. They drafted Robert Hunt.
They let go of their veteran linemen. Not that the Emmanuel, whatever, that guy would have helped them out as much because he's kind of been up and down with the Raiders.
They drafted Liam Eichenberg.
Right, but you let
They
go of
drafted
Flowers.
Solomon McKinley.
Do you want Flowers at left guard or do you want Austin Jackson at left guard? Go out and spend some money on an offensive lineman. That's what they should have done. You cannot go for – Joe, name me somebody that starts 4 young linemen and has success. Nobody does that, dude. Nobody. I've never heard of that. Maybe 2 or 3, and boy, those 2 or 3, they might be like really high picks, which that's not what the Dolphins have on their line. Their highest pick is the guy at number 18. That's not incredibly high. That doesn't mean that you're picking an all-out stud. You know what I'm saying?
At 18?
Yeah. Yeah, at 18, you're not.
Austin Jackson?
If you fall at 18 as a left tackle, well, how many left tackles were taken before him, my brother? That year, how many?
3 or 4.
Okay, so then obviously you're not elite. You know, if you're an elite tackle, it's like up in the top 10. That's the elite tackle. If you're a tackle that falls into the teens, that means you have some warts.
So
you know what I mean?
Shouldn't have drafted him.
Right. Well, maybe
it was a poor decision.
Yeah.
Listen, we all make poor choices.
Or you have
choices.
no offensive line coach that can get the best out of him. Right? He could be shot right now, confidence-wise.
We just go in circles, man. It's been the same thing for years.
Amen.
I just want to bang my head. And this is only my 6th year back, 8th total. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. It never stops.
Right.
When will it stop?
When you get a head coach.
When will it get better?
When you get a head coach that can actually build a staff. That's the question I have for every Dolphin fan and every writer that comes on our show. You know, tell me, why would you think it's going to change anyway? For 3 years, that guy can't build a staff. What makes you think he's going to build a staff in year 4? Really? What makes you think he can build a staff? There's zero proof on that. To me, that's what's held back everyone, Joe. There's no way that all 5 linemen are bad and you're hitting on all the other picks. That doesn't make any sense. That has to be your coach.
There's definitely blame to go around. We have to blame general manager Chris Grier because it sure seems that Austin Jackson was not a good pick. We also have to blame head coach Brian Flores because it sure seems that offensive line promotion of Lem Jean-Pierre was a mistake. So we all make mistakes, and the good franchises find ways to overcome those mistakes. No franchise goes without making mistakes. No franchise goes without key injuries. How come you see franchises winning Super Bowls and there are Pro Bowl players who they say, oh, it's amazing. They did it without this guy, and they did it without this guy. And look at this guy. He's on crutches and in a sweatshirt, and they still found a way to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with you that the coaching staff has come up short on the offensive side of the ball. I agree with you. I assume that big change is needed. And assuming Flores returns, I sure hope he finally gets it right.
Yeah, well, that's my question to you now. Does he get it right? What tells you in your gut that he's going to get it right next year?
I don't know. I don't know if he will. Honestly, I don't know. I can't say he will. How could I know?
Right.
I don't know.
You have zero confidence, right?
Well, I don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say zero confidence.
Okay, so
he has to show that.
Where's the confidence meter? Let's just be honest now. Where's the confidence meter from 0 to 10? Where's your confidence meter that Brian Flores can build an offensive staff?
Well, it's got to be at a 5 because Chad O'Shea didn't work out. Maybe they should have stuck with Chad O'Shea longer in retrospect. Yeah. Shane Gailey didn't work out. Maybe they should have stuck with Shane Gailey longer in retrospect. All right? So those were not terrible hires per se. Getting rid of them after a year certainly didn't work out. So, and I'll say what I said, on Thursday. There's only 32 offensive coordinator gigs in the NFL. Brian Flores has proven that he's gotten the defensive side of the ball worked out. If you have confidence in your ability, I think that's not a bad job. Not a bad job.
Preston Williams, Savon Ahmed, Darius Hodge, Vince Bigo, and Hunter Long are your inactive.
Wow, Hunter Long. Hunter Long, a little disappointing from Hunter Long. I know we talk about this. All right, a lot of tight end. Look, Gesicki's probably not going to be back. So you're going to get Hunter Long next year. We'll see if Hunter Long was the right pick. All right, we'll see. And then Savon Ahmed, I was looking at this earlier. You might not remember. He went for over 100 yards in last year's defeat of the Patriots here at Hard Rock Stadium in December. Right. So that is a very disappointing setback for Savon Ahmed this season. Very disappointing. Tua Tagovailoa, it should be noted, and I'm going to wrap here with you shortly. Tua Tagovailoa is 2-0 against the Patriots in his career, but he has only 1 passing touchdown in those 2 games, 3 rushing touchdowns, a passer rating under 77. So Flo and Tua have gotten it done against Belichick, but it hasn't really been because of Tua. So we'll see how he does today. A lot on the line. I am picking the Patriots to win today by 8 to 10 points. I think the Patriots win and cover, and I do think Brian Flores returns. I think there'll be some coaching staff changes. We have to see what happens with the front office. Do they add to the front office? Do they add somebody to the front office?
So you're not buying the Harbaugh stuff?
No, I don't. Listen, I hope not. I think
Harbaugh, he had to give back money to Michigan last year. I think this is his agent throwing all that chum in the water just to get Michigan to come back to the table and say, give us back that money you took away last year. We want it back in an extension. I think that's what this is all about, really.
I'm going to guess
although the Raiders thing is kind of crazy because Mark Davis is irresponsible. So you never know. I'm
going to guess that by 9 or 10 p.m. tonight, we'll all know that Flo is returning for next season.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. Did you see Glazer? Did you see Jay Glazer?
He said to keep an eye.
Yeah. First he says safe, and then he said keep an eye. And,
okay.
Just kind of like, well, is he safe or what are you hearing? So I'm just wondering.
Well, it is hard to get information from the Dolphins, and I have not, unfortunately, spoken with owner Stephen Ross in nearly 2 years. I'm hoping that changes in the near future. The owners' meetings are in Palm Beach. I'd love to get on a Zoom. I'm sure that Mr. Ross has Zoom. So, Mr. Ross, if you're watching, please jump on a Zoom with me. It'd be great.
Follow him on Twitter at Joe. And more importantly, please, folks, catch his work at the Palm Beach Post and subscribe. They got a lot of great writers there. Hal Habib does a great job. Tom D'Angelo, they got some really good people over there. So please subscribe to the Palm Beach Post and support our local journalists.
Thanks, Big O, and thanks for supporting us as local journalists. We appreciate you, buddy. That was a good article in the business online.
Thank you, sir.
That was good.
Time to do something for us and not for them. You know what I mean, Joe? All right, bro. Be good. Later. There you go. That's this platform. That's what it's all about. It's about media members, not about corporations. That was Joe Shad.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online online at adreamlending.com.
All right. I guess I got to adjust now, right? All right. I guess I got to adjust. Up a little bit now. Okay. No, too much? Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I needed another chair. They brought me the damn wrong chair, too. Top of all of that. Damn it, dude. They brought me a chair where it's like I'm a midget. Swear to God. I clearly told my wife what chair I needed. She's awesome, but she just got this one wrong. What are you going to do? It's amazing. Told her it's one that folds. And it's, a normal chair that folds, and it's in a zipper. She brought one that was in a string lock, and it's round. It's like a whole chair, dude. Like, it folds. It's just a chair folded. You know what I mean? And she brought one that's on shoestrings. So it is what it is. Anyway, so hope you all are doing well out there. Nice job by Mr. Joe Shad. Talking a little Miami Dolphins, getting ready for the Pats at 4:25. Yes, sir. What are you going to tell me?
I was biding my time. I was going to keep you updated on some scores.
What do we got?
When you're ready.
Let's do it.
The Jaguars have extended the lead to 16-3 over the Colts, but the Steelers are not doing their part, and they are now losing to the Ravens 10-6. The Titans 21-7 over the Texans. That will secure them the number 1 seed. And I think everything else is just pretty much being played to be played. Matt Nagy is leading his team, the Bears, over the Vikings with both teams. So I believe both coaches, at least judging by what Jay Glazer said, are probably on their way out.
Well, I mean, what Mike Zimmer has at home, who cares, bro? I mean, forget about that, bro. If that's what you got at home, I'd rather be fired. He's got plenty of cash. I would just be, that's what I would be doing. What can I tell you? Zachary Gibbons is asking elementary school chair. No, my wife brought me a beach chair, bro. Yeah, she brought me a freaking beach chair. So it's just like, this is just not good. It's not a good thing. But what can I tell you? Who knows? Maybe at halftime I'll just go somewhere and buy a chair and come back. Yeah, I don't know if I can make it home and back at halftime, but I'm close enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm close enough. That's for sure. I'm definitely close enough, man. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, they're building a cigar bar next to the Sportsgrill in Doral, and it's a cigar bar that is going to be like, there's like major leagues, and then there's like, I don't know, UEFA champions or something. It's just like nasty, dude. Like, they're putting a lot of money into it, man. It's going to be really nice. Really, really, really nice. It's eye-opening to see how well Tennessee is playing. What a difference competent coaching makes. I'm telling you, bro. Vrabel, as I said throughout the week, Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator is the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Are any of Flo's assistants going to be taken for head coaching jobs? No, I don't think so. They can barely keep a job in this league. Most of Flo's coaches don't even belong in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. And that's the question I always have for all Dolphins fans is, what in the world makes you think anything is going to change? The same guy's leading it. The same guy's getting in the way of everything. So, listen, man, I'm a fan of Chris Greer and Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie. I truly believe the Dolphins have an exceptional group of people in the front office that can build a football team for a long time to come. But they screwed up. They screwed up with Brian Flores. And there's a lot of people drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was one of them. I'll admit, man. Hey, man, I admit when I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm a human being. I'm going to get stuff right and wrong. And I bought into Flo too. But you keep taking in the information and then you reassess. And I've seen enough to know that really and dug enough to know that the problem is there. And I'll tell Chris and Marvin and Reggie this. You don't make a coaching change, you're getting all fired next year with him. Okay? That's what's going to end up happening. He will fail again to build a staff. You will have another one of those slow starts. You'll have another one of those streaks. And then you'll fall short again. And then we'll all be pointing fingers and all the shortcomings and everything else. And it's like Joe said, it's just a vicious cycle. And we've been at it for over 20 years. And nothing is going to change. But we shall see, right? Joe Robbie was the only good owner. See, that's that I take umbrage with that because that's a lazy take. Joe Robbie was the only good owner. Why? Because he won a Super Bowl? Because he won the Super Bowls? Wayne Huizenga was a hell of an owner, dude. He brought Jimmy. He brought Parcells. He brought Saban. We all thought they were the right selections. It didn't work out. Wayne Huizenga's baseball team won a World Series, and his general manager, in a fire sale, left the players in place to win the second World Series. His hockey team went to the Stanley Cup Finals. See, this is what I love about some fans out there. You hear somebody say something, and then it's a lazy take, and so let's repeat it over and over again, right? You don't think for yourselves. You know what the latest one is? Salguero tweets out that Fangio got fired, right? And that now the coaching staff is in limbo, but, you know, their offensive line coach is pretty good. Maybe the Dolphins should hire him. So then I get a whole bunch of tools that are telling me this because they read it from Armando, not because they thought of it themselves. Okay, but then they don't think for themselves because what I would say is, how do you know that guy wants to work for Flo? It's really easy to say, oh, hire that guy, hire that guy. How do you know? Don't you see what he ends up settling for? It's not like top-of-the-line assistants are lined up to come here over and over again. Chen Gailey was only brought here because of the front office, not because of Flo. It's not Flo's connection that brought Gailey here. It's Flo's demeanor that got Gailey out of here. Think for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. It's the writer's job to throw out the chum in the water and let the fan chew it up and all that. So it's just fun. I laugh, man, because it's a world of sheep. And it's very few people that actually think for themselves and really look at what's going on. You know? So it's funny. Armando tweets that out, and then all Dolphin fans that see Armando's tweet all of a sudden think they've got a shot at that guy when look at the history. Why would a quality assistant come here? And now next year you'll be on the – if Glazer kind of backhandedly talked about him being on the hot seat, even though he put him that he's safe, you know what I mean? Then what do you think next year is? So, let's see. Big O goes into great detail to show how bad Flores is. Why doesn't he ever break down Tua? Well, I've broken down Tua over and over, my man. Until you build a line, until you get real coaches, you're not going to get what you want out of Tua. It's pretty simple. See, in Alabama, he had real coaches, which he doesn't have in Miami. In Alabama, he had a real offensive line, which he doesn't have in Miami. In Alabama, he had a running game, which he doesn't have in Miami. Only in Miami, my brother, they run an RPO where they can't run. Okay? Just think about that. Let that marinate in your mind, you moron. Okay? So if you want the max out of Tua, give him a running game like he had at Alabama. If you want the max out of Tua, give him an offensive line. Ryan Tannehill isn't half the quarterback that Tua is as a passer, but he's got a line. He's got a running game. They made Foreman look like Derrick Henry last week. So if you want me to break down Tua, well, give him coaches. Give him an offensive line. If you expect anyone to carry this team, you're crazy. This is the same lazy fan that then goes back to the Marino era, and then I tell them, okay, well, guess what? That era wasn't good enough either. Why? because they didn't give Marino a defense or a running game either. So if you just want to like put lipstick on a pig and be good enough to win 10 games or 11 to sneak into the playoffs and get your ass kicked, then go ahead. That's fine. That sounds great. That sounds like a beautiful plan, my brother. But the idea is to plan to build a championship team. So like I said earlier this week, Bob Greasy had half the talent of Marino, but he had 5 times the team. He had a complete offensive line. Marino only had the left side. He had a complete run. He had 3 running backs. Miami had 0. And he had a defense that was nasty as hell, which Marino never had. And Marino on one leg with one arm could snap the ball and outpass Greasy any day of the week and twice on Sundays. But he can't carry a team to a title that doesn't have a running game or a defense. But you guys want to make Tua carry a crappy coaching staff and a crappy offense. That's why it shows you know nothing about football. Because you're just fans that play fantasy football. That's all you do. You don't actually look at the damn game and how it's played. Okay? Baltimore knows Lamar Jackson is not a great passer. So they're going to run the hell out of the ball, and they're going to have all kinds of running backs. They're going to have a monster line, and they're going to have a defense. That's how you protect that quarterback. You're not going to put Lamar Jackson in 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 15s because you will die. But if you understand your talent, then you build the team around your talent. Sean Payton knew that Drew Brees is not Russell Wilson, is not Pat Mahomes. So I need to give him a strong line, a great running game, and I'll be able to run the offense that I want because he is not Marino. He's not Cam Newton, even though Cam Newton's not really a good quarterback anyway. But what I mean by the physical presence of it. He can't run people over. He can't outrun people. He can't do any of that. But he understood what Drew Brees was and built it around him in order to win. Don Shula knew what Bob Greasy was, and he built it around him. Joe Montana did not have an electrified arm. He had a decent arm. Super smart. But he also had Roger Craig, an all-pro offensive line, an all-world wide receivers, and an all-pro tight end. So Bill Walsh made sure he surrounded Joe Montana with the pieces he needed in order to succeed. Plus, he was also a great coach and a great coaching staff. Something, again, that they don't have here. They don't have a great coach, and they don't have a great coaching staff. So if you want to explain Tua, first you need to understand football and how it's played. And what you need to do, depending on what kind of player you have. And the bottom line is they've done a terrible job of building around a young quarterback here. That's the real problem going on. So there you go. Herbert and Burrow have been sacked twice as many times as Tua, but have better stats and clearly look better. Yeah, exactly. You're right. They're just because they have, and they have worse talent than Tua also, right, bro? That's exactly it. Worse talent. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, we got you. Okay. Is the NFL geared towards offense? Like you say, Flo is a good defensive coach. He will never be able to create a good offense, scheme, or otherwise. That's my point, Robert. That's my point. So if Flo can't get it done on the offensive side, he can't be a head coach in the NFL. It's pretty simple. I don't know how, I don't know why it's hard to actually understand that. Big O, you have gone completely to and on. Yeah, so that's fine. I'm the first guy to tell you that. So you guys make it sound like it's something bad that I believe in the quarterback. I believe in the quarterback, not the coach. Sorry. What can I tell you? That's the way I look at it. All right, let's take a break. Give me 1 minute here to get ready for Lee Sterling, baby, and Paramount Sports. Let's get some picks for the afternoon. And who knows, maybe for the rest of the week, you might have some nuggets on the side there that we do have the national championship game tomorrow. So we'll ask Lee about that too. All right, let's take a very quick break. Lee Sterling back with us here to give us the picks right here on the Big O Radio Show live from Sportsgrill on Bird Road.
For over 25 years, South Floridians have counted on Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises for their roofing needs. In South Florida, we battle the sweltering heat, rain, winds, and all kinds of tropical storms. That's why when it comes to protecting your family, home, or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All work fully guaranteed with the customer's complete satisfaction. A-plus rated member of the Better Business Bureau. Licensed and insured. There's no buts about it. When your roof needs repair or replacement, go to TommyBButtsJrEnterprises.com. A certified whitening contractor.
All right, we are back. There he is, Lee Sterling, of course, Paramount Sports. Go to ParamountSports.com. I see, Lee, you're sporting the classic logo. You don't wear that stinking whale, right? Yeah, that the new logo sucks.
Never.
Yeah,
I have
right?
absolutely nothing. Not one thing with the new logo.
Me too. I just I remember I was doing a live show at Dolphins camp a couple of years ago, and they were really nice as always, and they come out and they hand us shirts and hats and all that. And then when he walked, I said, thank you, whatever. When he walks away, I look at it and I go, here, Brandon, you can have it. I don't want this. It was just like, it was the new logo, the new hat. I was like, yeah, get it out of here.
Right.
I don't need this. You can have it. Just one of those deals. Anyway, all right, my brother, this is the final game of the regular season. I am a little concerned about a little letdown because it's only human nature that if New England can break them down and run the ball on them and have success and keep Mac Jones in manageable situations, which is what they've done magnificently all year long. They've kept him like that man in the box, and it's worked for them really well. I worry about that. So as a gambler, how are you looking at this?
Well, the line opened up at 2.5. New England was favored. It's moved all the way to 6.5. 6 some places. If you like New England, the ship has sailed. I mean, you just get off. You just get off. There's some times where I like the side and the line is moved. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm not playing the game. You move away from the game. Most people can't do that. They'll play it anywhere, and they'll play it anyway. And New England will win by 3 or 4 points, and they get stung. In the long run, if you're a gambler and you're looking to win, you can't do that. I don't think Miami's going to get beat that way. I think Miami only gets beat if they turn the ball over 3 or more times. I think the line's too high at 6, 6.5. I think Miami's going to be able to control the ball some. They might have like a 32, 28-minute time advantage, believe it or not. And I don't think the linebackers are real good in coverage for New England. That's where I think they're going to exploit the Patriots. I think New England might win the game. I haven't won the game 23-20, but I'll take the 6 in Miami.
All right. I like that. All right. Anything else in the afternoon? I know we're playing with fire with some of these games because, there's not a lot on the line. So your thoughts on anything else this afternoon?
I think Buffalo's going to wax the Jets. So what's been the Jets' biggest weapon last couple of weeks? Braxton Berrios. I mean, like the kid, but
good for him.
There's been talk that he's a free agent, that I think he wants to either stay in New York, maybe come to Miami, or go back to Carolina where he's from. He's a nice player. He's a good returner. Probably should have made the Pro Bowl, but if that's your best weapon, there's a couple quarterbacks that are great in cold weather. Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. Josh Allen throwing the ball, as long as it's not a 50-mile-an-hour wind like that first New England game, he can run the ball. I mean, how many times do you see a guy 6'7", that's big, strong, and runs like a 4.7 40. You don't see it too often. And he plays well, like I said, plays well in poor situations. I think the Jets losing that game last week. I'll play bad teams on the road, but not the last week of the season. I like Buffalo went big. I think they win this game like 37-10.
All right. Tomorrow we got the national championship game going. Georgia has been so hyped. They obviously fell short to Alabama the last time they met. So what happens now this time around, my brother?
I've got a real good feel on these teams. I hit both semifinals. I was all over Michigan for about 10, 11 days. And I started watching film, and I'm like, they're not going to be able to run against Georgia. For some reason, Georgia, it was like they were playing Missouri in that first game against Alabama. It was like nothing. It was like a regular season game. I think they were buying into how good they were. So I think they'll prepare like they've never prepared before. I think they're going to bring it like they did against Michigan. I don't think this is a special Alabama team. I thought last year's team with all those skill players was next level. I don't think they're anything special. I just think they caught a bad Cincinnati team.
This is a rebuild, Alabama, right now. This is a rebuild.
They're going to be good next year.
I know. They're scary next year.
I think that Georgia defensive line is going to dominate. I think they're even going to run the ball in Alabama here. I have them winning this game here 28-17.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I will say this. The quarterback for Alabama, that kid is.
No, he's great.
He's the real deal. To be that young and to be able to play that calm and cool on that stage, Lee, that's some – I mean, we watched from the Tuas and the Jalen Hurts and this kid – we've watched some pretty special Alabama quarterbacks in the last few years pull off some stuff in really, really big moments, man.
He was great, but the motivation was all on Alabama's side. They had to win the game. Georgia just, sometimes these kids, they tune out a head coach or their coordinators when things are going great. And I'll never forget this in college. I was playing a team called Southwest Texas State. We were an FCS school, and we won every game. The final game of the regular season, we lost, I think, by 2 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, everything changed. We get to the playoffs, and we waxed everyone. I mean, sometimes you need a wake-up call. I think I'm not saying this team from Georgia is as good as Alabama last year, but I think they're head and shoulders above Alabama. I think they're going to win the game by 10, 11 points.
All right. Follow them, by the way, on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Go to the website, ParamountSports.com. You've been tearing it up in hockey. Got the basketball season going on right now. Did you have yesterday against Duke?
We did. I wish they would have had it on the money line. I was talking it up, but when I saw 15 points, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to play it. Especially when they fell behind after that early run. But that was a lot of fun. Great for the Miami basketball program. Needed that. And I think they're going to be competitive for the rest of the season. So they want to check me out. Get the rest of January. Football, basketball, hockey, and UFC. We text you the selections every afternoon, weekdays in the mornings by 12 noon on weekends. ParamountSports.com. $297 through the rest of January.
Charlie Moore, what a hell of a drive there at the end, man. That was a lot of fun. Go to the website, ParamountSports.com. Check out Lee Sterling, and they are red hot right now in hockey, man. Go get them.
Even more fun when your brother-in-law went to Duke. My brother-in-law went to Duke.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, they got 4 guys that play with moxie, man. So they and it's like 5-6 year seniors or something, which in today's basketball, that's like having a couple of McDonald's All-Americans, because there aren't any more McDonald's All-Americans. So all the stars are gone in college basketball. So if you can have experienced guys like Larinaga has, he did that a few years back with the Larkin team. Remember? Yeah. He had a whole bunch of old guys, and he was able to make a run with that. So maybe that's the formula again this year. We'll see. Lee, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
You too, Big O. Take
care. There you go. Lee Sterling, baby. Paramount Sports. Hour number 1 is done. Sean Stanley, baby. He masters this program. That's right, baby. He drives it live from Sportsgrill here on Bird Road and 114th. Come on out. Hour number 2 is next. Hey, it's Go. Protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzugaray family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. For over 25 years, South Floridians have counted on Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises for their roofing needs. In South Florida, we battle the sweltering heat, rain, winds, and all kinds of tropical storms. That's why when it comes to protecting your family, home, or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All work fully guaranteed with the customer's complete satisfaction. A-plus rated member of the Better Business Bureau. Licensed and insured. There's no buts about it. When your roof needs repair or replacement, go to TommyBButtsJrEnterprises.com. A certified whitening contractor. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. Coming to you live, baby, from beautiful Sportsgrill right here on Bird Road. Hope you all are well out there. We will be back. I'm pretty sure it'll be this location. It might be Miami Lakes. I'm not sure yet. We haven't decided, but I will be back for a Super Bowl show. Sean and I will be doing a Super Bowl show. Did talk to the owners this past week. So it looks like a Super Bowl show will be the next one that we do here at Sportsgrill. And then next year, obviously, we'll be back at Sportsgrill, but it'll be in the Doral location, the new location that's coming. We'll be there every Sunday doing our thing. And I'm already planning, baby. We got planning all kinds of stuff that we're going to do. We've got you're gonna have Caneswear with us over at Sportsgrill in Doral. They're gonna be out there. They're gonna be selling all kinds of Dolphins gear. So if you go that day to Sportsgrill and you need a hat or something, we'll have it for you. You need a shirt, we'll have it for you. Maybe you want to buy a jersey, we'll have it for you. That kind of stuff. So we will have all kinds of stuff for you over at Sportsgrill in Doral. Caneswear will be there with us. They'll be teaming up and we'll be giving away some gear and everything. So definitely going to be a lot of fun. And then some other things that I've got planned that I'm working on. Patriots inactive, Donta Hightower, Kyle Duger. Is he one of the Dugers from because those people are getting arrested left and right and they're in prison and all that? You know what I'm talking about. Like 19 and whatever, that family of like 19 people, whatever. All right. JJ Taylor, Devin Asiasi, and Jarrett Stidham, my boy from Auburn. Project. Let's see what else. Bigger, what do you think of the over and under of 41? I would stay away from this game, Uber. I would stay away from this game, my brother. I would. I don't like this game for anything. I really don't. I kind of stay away from this whole thing. And listen, maybe I'm the wrong guy because I'm not big on betting on the Dolphins because then I got to sit there and root against the Dolphins. That's always been kind of twisted for me. I've never been good at that. I'll bet with the Dolphins and bet for them, but I just don't like sitting there betting against the Dolphins. That's not really the thing I like to do. It's just, and I know that this game in the big picture doesn't really mean a lot, but it's just one of those things. I can't do it. It's weird. It's just not something that. So, yeah, no, I can't do that, man. Let's see. Tua ain't trash, but he ain't as advertised. Well, that's how it is. Neither was Drew Brees his first 3 years. Lots of people aren't what they are at the beginning of their careers because they don't get an opportunity the right way. So it is what it is. Frank says, Big O, I agree 100% with you on Flo. In your opinion, what's the realistic possibility Ross does fire Flo? It's a great question, my brother. I don't know. I'm hoping 100%, but that's not been the MO is you leave Parcells and Sperano too long. The MO is you leave Joe Philbin around too long. The MO is you leave Adam Gase around too long. So that will be the same mistake they've made in the past. You know what I mean? It's up to Chris Grier. Really, listen, it's as much as I'm a fan of Chris Grier, it's up to him now to save his butt. Chris Grier has to go into Stephen Ross's office and look him in the eye and say, we made a mistake. Okay? Brian Flores cannot stay here. We need another coach. He cannot build a coaching staff. And all we're going to do is spin wheels here. We need to get another head coach. We got good talent. Okay? And as I've been saying for several weeks now, all right, I watched Jason Taylor get old, and I watched Zach Thomas get old, and I watched Sam Madison and Pat Surtain and Tim Bowens get old because Wanstead couldn't fix the offense and couldn't figure it out. I watched Cam Wake. I watched Jones get old. I watched Paul Soliai leave. I watched players that were pretty good defensive players in the second wave. Okay, Cam Wake, that guy never played in a playoff team, right? Never, right? In his whole career? Yeah, Cam, right? Or wait a minute, Gase, that 1 year, the 10-6. Okay, so one. Hello, Lexa and Josh in the house. So, yeah. So, all these things have gone on, and it's kind of a track record thing. So, we'll see what happens. But if Chris Grier doesn't convince Brian Flores, well, first of all, Chris Grier has to know that he has to fire Brian Flores. If he doesn't know that if he doesn't fire Brian Flores, it will get him fired the following year because that's what always happens, then it's his fault. Okay? He already screwed up in hiring Brian Flores, hoping that he wouldn't turn into Patricia and Josh McDaniels, and he did. So now that now that the prince turned into the pumpkin, you need to throw the pumpkin out. And he has to convince Stephen Ross that Brian Flores has to go. And if he doesn't, then it will then be the undoing of everybody in that area. And then Ross, the following year, will be hiring a new general manager and a new head coach. I've seen this story before. It's old. It's old and tired. But that's my opinion. So, how much responsibility do you this failed rebuild? It hasn't failed. The rebuild hasn't failed. That's the difference between you and me. You can save this rebuild by getting the right coach. You're pretty close to becoming a playoff team. All you got to do is tweak a couple things and get a coach that can get a staff and this whole thing. But I blame Greer for hiring the wrong young coach. That's all. Go get a Jim Caldwell. Go get a Jack Del Rio. Go get an old coach that's got a big-ass Rolodex and can build one staff after another. That's what you do. Get a guy like that. If it's not those guys, somebody like that, of that ilk. Stop trying to find the next young coach. It's really hard, man. They've done it over and over again. It just doesn't work. It's so tough. Thomas says, question, Big O, if Harbaugh gets hired, is it Greer or Ross that wanted him? Oh, definitely all Ross. All Ross. I doubt anybody wants to work with Jim Harbaugh. The guy's a kook. I think he gets too much credit for San Francisco. And Scott McLuhan and Schneider don't get enough credit that they actually built such a monster that almost anybody would win with that team. Let me tell you, if I'm a Niners fan, as Dolphin fans, we're frustrated about the last 25 years, but none of the teams we've had ever in 25 years were even close to a Super Bowl. That San Francisco team, wow. That thing was loaded, dude. Loaded. They had a nice window of opportunity on that team. That was a massive team in those days. Benjamin Michael says, Big O, big question. Okay, here we go. Drum roll, please. If you could choose to either get rid of Flo, then you get rid of Tua, or keep Flo and keep Tua, which one would you choose? Yeah, no, I'm getting rid of Flo and keeping Tua. I'm not playing your game. I already know what I want to do. I'm getting rid of Flo and I'm keeping Tua. That's what I'm doing. So, Tua isn't the problem, but this franchise so mediocre that he is not the answer either. Tua is a good guy. We'll always cheer for him. Both parties will be better without the other. So who is the guy? So who is if Tua isn't, who's the guy that's going to lift this mess up? That's the part I laugh. That you guys think that there's actually a quarterback that's going to lift this mess up, with no coaching staff, no offensive line, and no running game. That's hilarious. Oh, and by the way, let's not leave out that 70% of your receivers are constantly on the IR. Yeah, no, any quarterback, any elite quarterback would really take care of all the issues here. Yeah. So I would imagine that Trevor Lawrence, in your eyes, right, he's terrible too, because, man, he's been way worse than Tua in Jacksonville. So it must be his fault, right? That must be the problem, right? That Trevor Lawrence sucks also? Is that it? Because, if Tua sucks, so does Trevor Lawrence. Just like Breeze, he sucked for 3 years too. He was a bust. Nobody believed in him. His arm was torched, all that stuff. And then he goes on to put together a Hall of Fame career. Why? Because he ran into the right coach. That helps, man. That helps. David Carr might have become a really good quarterback if he didn't get sacked 70 times a year to start his career. You take a beating. You know what? I think there's a little bit to this that I think people don't look at. I think that the offensive linemen, those guys, I think some of them might be way better than what they look like. But by now, their confidence is so shot. They have been beaten down so badly that it's hard for them to have the kind of confidence that they need out there at times. And it's, again, only human nature, man. If your coaching can't bail you out, the situation doesn't put you in a good position to succeed, it's hard, man. It's hard to succeed without help. Everybody needs help. Nobody does it by themselves. Big O, should the Dolphins trade for Watson or another QB? Well, we'll talk about those things next week when the season's over, and we'll get into all that kind of stuff. Let's see. I told you about what I feel like today about the team, and I'm a little nervous about this. I will tell you this. Tua did look beaten down this week in those press conferences. He looked like a player that the season has worn on him. The guy that was jubilant, the guy that was wearing Fitz's jersey, the guy that had a smile and was kind of playful at times with the media, that guy's disappeared. And the atmosphere for him. Listen, man, a child when they're growing up, they need love and attention from their parents. Even if they hate it at times, or it looks like they hate it at times, deep down inside, they love it. And the nagging and all that stuff, we hated it from our parents, but in the end, we knew it's because they cared. Years later, you realize it, and years later, you realize that foundation of caring is what helped you get through a lot of things. And it's like anything. You bring a dog to your home, well, you got to love that dog. You got to give it attention, right? You don't just put food in front of it and just let it walk around and never address it and leave it there and let it just sit by itself in a corner and all that. You don't do that, right? You bring a dog you want to your home, you love them, you give them attention, and they give you love and they give you attention. And the synergy is one of the most beautiful things that there is in the world. And that's kind of what you have to do in life. You have to create synergy. You have to create support. And you're talking about a quarterback that has been drafted to a team with a head coach that didn't want him from the get-go, with a head coach that at no point has ever believed in him. So if you don't believe in someone, how do you support them? If you don't believe in someone, don't you think they know it? Don't you think the child that doesn't get love from their parents knows it? Don't you think the dog that doesn't get love from their owner knows it? Right? Don't you know the kid that is in the classroom and doesn't get any attention or support from their teacher knows it? And don't you think that part of that building block is why someone fails, or all of us fail? Right? So this is the situation that young man has come into. It's been unfortunate right from the get-go. Everybody passed up on Lamar Jackson. Do you know why everybody passed up on Lamar Jackson? Because nobody really believed that he could be a good passer. And guess what? He never will be a good passer. He never will ever be a good passer. But the Baltimore Ravens said, we know he's not going to be a good passer. But since we can't get a good passer right now, this guy has a trait that you can't teach: speed. He's elusive like Barry Sanders. So let's maximize this. Let's build a line. Let's build a strong running game. He will complement that running game with that RPO. We will give him short passes and easier passes, slants, several tight ends, big targets. So when he does have to make passes, he doesn't have to make high percentage passes. He's not trying to thread a skinny post down the middle between a safety and a linebacker. He doesn't have to do a lot of that stuff. They don't force him to do that because he can't. But they have conviction. They have love. They have support for Lamar Jackson. They understand his limitations and build around his strengths. Drew Brees finds a home in New Orleans, finds a coach that supports him, finds a coach that understands his limitations and says, okay, I've got to dress the offense this way. Cam Newton, when you drafted him out of Auburn, you knew he was never going to be a great passer, but you built the offense the way you can to win with Cam Newton. Whether you can win a Super Bowl or not, whatever. But at least you're going to play it the best way to his strengths. Tannehill the same way with Tennessee. He's a limited passer. Last week, what did he do? Did he do anything special? No. All he needed was a couple of passes, a couple of runs. That's it. It's over. Why? Because Donta Freeman took care of it, the offensive line took care of it, and the defense took care of it, and Mike Vrabel took care of it. Because they understand. And Tua understands that he's walked into a situation where he's unwanted, not supported, and not given the tools to succeed. Do you know why he knows that? Because he had them all at Alabama. He had the love, he had the attention, and he had the preparation. He had the coach that understood his talents and built it around him. And what I saw this week in that press conference and that face was a young man that is worn out. Worn out emotionally, worn out mentally, worn out physically. This is a guy that in the last year and a half has had to overcome a hip surgery, broken ribs, a fractured finger, terrible coaches, no offensive line, no running game, and half a fan base that can't stand his ass. Oh, and by the way, a media group that it's not their fault. They have to ask all the uncomfortable questions because it's not the media that's talking to Watson. It's not the media trying to trade for Watson. It's not the media that's talking anything else about any other quarterbacks. That's the Dolphins doing it. So they're just reporting what's going on. And I'm telling you, you can't have an environment like that, and I blame Flo for that. Because Flo's the guy that never wanted him from the get-go. And Flo has created that environment instead of trying to create an environment to help him succeed. And he fails to do that. All right, give me a minute here. Dudley Do-Wrong, baby, is going to join us when we come back on the other side. Coming to you live from Sportsgrill right here on Bird Road, baby, in 114th. Come on by, hang out with us. Let's watch the Dolphins and the Patriots. Dudley Do-Wrong will join us next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoRadioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We're back. All right, appreciate it. And it is time now. My man Dougley Do-Wrong ready to join us. There he is, locked and loaded in that beautiful studio.
What's up, bud?
All right, good to hear from you. Good to see you. It's interesting. What's on the line today? Like today, is anybody going to even if Tua throws for 500 yards or 150 yards, does it really matter to you? Anything today? If Coach Flores coaches a magnificent game or a bad game, is there anything that's going to convince or change your mind of something today?
Not really. No, I feel like the majority of what we saw from Tua, you get an idea. Because if people are going to make jump decisions after one bad game, are they going to make a jump decision after a really great game? If we
yes,
beaten
yes,
down?
They will. They will.
So but like with the Brian Flores situation, I talk a lot about this on Twitter and stuff. He should get credit for the 7-game winning streak, but he also should get credit for the 7-game losing streak. So it's like it all depends. We both know he's well. I think he's not going to get fired come tomorrow on Black Monday, but we'll see. If Harbaugh, I don't know. I could see Ross making a run at Harbaugh as much as some people don't want it to happen. He tried before. I don't see why he wouldn't try again, especially if he's going to go to the Raiders.
Yeah, the only thing is that you're probably going to have to change front offices too, because I don't think Greer is going to want to work with that guy. Because Greer already here's the thing. If Greer wants to save his ass in 2023, he needs to fire Flo now, because his problem is the same problem they had with Gase. You hired a young coach and then you gave him the power he hadn't earned.
Yeah, exactly.
You should not have given him any power on personnel side at all. And because you've had a meddling head coach, it's kind of ruined what you're trying to build. And he also, as before you came on, I don't know if you were watching, he's created a terrible environment for his current quarterback. And so now you've got Harbaugh coming in, and you don't know what environment he's going to create. And he's probably going to want his own general manager because of experiences in the past and all that kind of stuff. So I think you create a bigger mess. But you're right. He is liable to go after Harbaugh because he loves him. Now, here's the thing. Here's the twisted part about it. I'm wondering if Steven now says, I wanted him before, but right now, after winning the Big Ten and beating Ohio State, I don't know if I want to chase him now and make him. And then, I get him from my pro team, but I hurt my college team.
Exactly.
Bad look for them. That's one. Two, we're hearing the Raiders already. We're not really hearing the Dolphins at all. It's only media bringing it up. So I keep wondering this. He had to give money back last year because he had been so bad. I'm just wondering if this is just him and his agent stirring it up to get Michigan to come back to the table, give me back my money from last year and an extension, and we're fine, and let's move forward. I think it's really more about that when it's all said and done. And I've told people that Schneider and McLaughlin were so awesome as general managers in San Francisco during that time that I don't think it was about Harbaugh. I think it was more about that front office that team was so sick, so loaded, that's why they won, really, to be honest with you. But that's just me on the Harbaugh
Yeah,
situation.
because a lot of people were talking about that potential before they brought in Flores. And a lot of people brought up what you said. He does not want to mess with Michigan right now. He wants Michigan to keep doing Michigan things. He's going to go for someone else. So that's a very good possibility that if Harbaugh still wants to stay with Michigan a little bit, Ross is going to let him talk to the dysfunctional Raiders and then probably go back to Michigan.
Or if you don't hear Ross's name involved, because Ross is so heavily involved with Michigan, he might know that this is just a ploy for a new contract with Michigan. And maybe that's what he's going to help pay, is for the new contract for Harbaugh at Michigan, not at the Miami Dolphins. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's just one of those. And personally, for me, I'm not a Jim Harbaugh guy, dude. I think he's a college coach. I think John Harbaugh built for men. I don't know how you view it, but that's kind of the way I view his goofiness. For me, is more about kids, not men. That's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, he did well with the 49ers, and he got far with the 49ers. But once some type of adversity hit him, when it was that whole debate with him and the GM, and once the success started to dwindle down, you saw, like you were talking about, can he handle that? And to me, that is the biggest thing with head coaching. How do they respond to that adversity? Because John Harbaugh faced the adversity multiple times and responded very well. And like you said, it seems like he would prefer to control the guys going to college versus going to the NFL versus the guys in the NFL.
Doug, I'm going to put you on the spot now, because you said and you agree with me, and I think a lot of people that are logical, that today really doesn't define anything one way or another, whether you have a great game or a bad game. You should already kind of have a feel for it. So I ask you, pros and cons. Why would you bring back Brian Flores in 2022?
Pros, it kind of feeds into the facing adversity thing I just said. And he's shown that he could get this team to fight for him, not only in 2019, not only in 2020, but now. Whatever the mishap he had in the beginning of 2020 and the beginning of this year shows that he can bounce back, he can fix some things, and he can win. He can be successful. It's just, why does he keep taking so long to get there? The cons, he cannot put together an offensive side coaching staff if his life depended on it. 3 years, 3 different offensive coordinators, my biggest con with him is I don't like that he does not like the adversity of somebody disagreeing with him. And I don't know that for a fact. Obviously, me and you aren't in there talking, seeing in the locker room and stuff. But why get rid of the vets? Why get rid of veteran offensive coordinators? Why get rid of these guys and bring in young guys that you can control? That is my biggest con, because if he kept Chan Gailey, because Chan Gailey kind of seemed like a stopgap a little bit. So he probably was like, look, I'll help you a little bit, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'm like, however old I am, I'm done. Why not go out and get another veteran, offensive coordinator? Why'd you get rid of Flowers? Why'd you get Van Bobby McCain, I understand a little bit, because they were going a different direction with the safety position.
Although bringing along a young safety, you would want a veteran safety to kind of walk them through it early on. And he didn't even want to do that either. You know what I'm saying? And in a way, it's a shame, because Bobby sold out his body for you. Because he's a slot guy, and you put him at safety, and he hurt his shoulder and everything, and you reward him by letting him go and not bringing him back. I thought that was kind of cold too, on top of all of that.
Yeah. So I could see it going. If he did get fired, it would be a little bit of a shock, just because, the 7-game winning streak, it kind of seemed to me that it kind of solidified him for one more year. Okay, you put it together, now continue to put it together. But then him also being fired, I could see it, because you went 10-6. You got rid of players that helped you go to 10-6, and then you lost 7 straight. Why did you do that? And why did it take you 7 games to install the 2020 defense Like the Xavier Howard coming out and saying that really blew up his spot, and even Jerome Baker coming out and saying, "Oh, they finally came up to me and said, listen, we're not going to keep you at my middle linebacker anymore. We're going to put you back at outside," where he got the contract extension from. So It's like these things, and then how long did it take Austin Jackson to guard, and why is Jesse Davis still ever? So there's things that is like, if he does get fired, I'm not surprised, but if they keep him, I expect it.
Yeah, that's the screwed up part about this whole thing, man. It's just it's I think the most frustrating part for all of us as Dolphin fans is that after 3 years, we thought we were making progress after 2. But after this 3rd year, it's kind of like throwing a wrench into everything, and you're going, "Wait a minute, is it the same old Dolphins again?"
Yeah.
We're not back on that track again, because you've got people that don't believe in the front office, and don't believe in the quarterback, or don't believe in the coach, or don't believe in a combination of those, whatever it is. And so that's the thing that this season has done. It's created all the doubt that we didn't have after year 2. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah, 100%. And like we talked about this on one of our shows, I think a month or so ago, where he made these moves in the offseason. And my first instinct was, well, he got us from 5-11 to 10-6, so I'm going to trust him. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to trust the process.
I'm with you.
But now all of a sudden, he's going to be making moves this offseason, and me and you are going to be like, what the hell is he doing? I ain't trusting this process no more. So he kind of lost that trust, unless he does go out and get like Trent Brown, put him at left tackle, goes out, gets a middle linebacker, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, you got 100 million in cap space, depending on.
You figured it out. Yeah.
Now you know what you're doing, huh? So we'll see. It might have taken him sticking the fork in the socket 3 times for him to finally realize, I need to stop putting that fork in that socket. So we'll see.
Do you have faith that he can build the offensive staff? Because he's got to fire people again.
My problem is he's on the hot seat. So which big offensive coordinator, which veteran, which guy who's done it before? Like, I want like the Jim Caldwell of offensive coordinators who's won a Super Bowl doing it. Who's going to latch themselves to a guy who might get fired in a year? So it's like
not a quality coach.
Exactly, and that's where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you won't get a quality coach. By the way, people are saying that it's been 4 coordinators in 3 years. Isn't it really 6 coordinators in 3 years?
Yeah, because
he had 3 today this year, right? He didn't have 1; he had 3 this year, and then the other 3 he hired. So it's really 6 coordinators in 3 years that Brian Flores has hired. I'm just saying.
This year is so bad that he was like, I can't find one. So I'm just going to hire 2. So hopefully that can make up for the lack of the one I can't find.
No, and you throw in Charlie Fry, who was changing plays. No, I don't like that play. Let's do this one instead. Pass out of the end zone. That kind of stuff. It just, pass into the end zone. That's that was Charlie Fry's call. Apparently, that was the one. The nail in the coffin was like, no. We're gonna go to Godsey now. Godsey, you make all the calls. That, when you think about that, the mess up of that whole offensive coordinator stuff, the Jalen Phillips dropping in coverage instead of just rushing him, the Jerome Baker put him in the middle when he's really not a thumper. There are so many of those kind of mistakes. Like, okay, no, Malcolm Brown, no, he's going to be our starter now, not the guys we had last year. All these kind of things that have gone on. Austin Jackson, no, we'll keep him at left tackle. All right, we'll move him to left guard. And you could have kept Flowers, which would have been a lot better at left guard than Austin Jackson. All of these things that you start to take inventory of throughout the season, there's a lot of bad decisions that set this team back.
Yeah, and we've seen it time and time again, and taking too long to make the decisions, and then when he makes those decisions, they pay out. So I don't understand why he doesn't realize, okay, maybe I need to make these sooner. Like the Bills game, everyone looks at the Bills game and say, oh, we lost, and we lost, I wouldn't say pretty bad, but but that defense held the Bills to 3 points for 2.5 quarters, because all of a sudden he realized, oh, this scheme, whatever I'm calling, isn't working. Let's change it up. Let's play man coverage, aggressive blitzing like we were doing last year. And let's rely on the defense because our offense, whether it's the quarterback, offensive line, wide receivers, whatever you want to say, the offense is struggling. Let's go back to 2020. We could have won against the Jaguars, the Falcons, the Raiders, if he had that mindset again where I'm going to be aggressive on defense. Because that Falcons game, Tua scores, gets us the lead with 2 minutes and like 15 seconds left. And in 2 plays, they get down to the Dolphins' 23-yard line. 2 plays. So it's like if he didn't take so long to have this mindset of the defense, the Dolphins right now could be sitting, and I hate to say this, they win those 3 games, they could be sitting fighting for the number 1 seed. So it's the decision-making, it takes too long. He makes it, and it's the right decision, but it takes too long. Yeah, like, again, I'm still banging my head against the wall that Jesse Davis is still on the starting offensive line. Well, he better not play today. He just better not play today because there's no point in playing him today.
No, and that's the reason why the idea to bring 4 young guys and a journeyman to be the protector of your quarterback, it's just so asinine, dude. Mm-hmm. Nobody does stuff like that. Nobody, dude. No. Only Brian Flores thinks that that's a good idea to bring that. And not only that, to be coached by a guy that barely has any experience too, and really has no business. Jean-Pierre is or Pepe Le Pew, as I like to call him. He doesn't have any business coaching at the higher level of Division I college football, much less the NFL. That's the scary part. I mean, you saw his press conference this week. Holy moly, dude.
He didn't want to answer some questions. He was avoiding.
Yeah. He couldn't answer anything.
No,
everything's been an indictment on him, really, in the end, because players are improving all over the place on their own, and yet there in that area, nobody improves. Robert Hunt has gotten better on his own.
Yep.
You can tell it's not really coaching; it's that he just has talent.
Good player. Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, he has talent, right? And by the way, I believe Eichenberg has talent.
Yes.
I believe he can still turn into a good player. I just think he needs a real coach. Mm-hmm. And I think psychologically too, Doug, I don't know if you feel like I do, but I think they're all already mentally all beaten down. I was just talking about that with Tua that you saw in the press conference, his face. He's not the same guy that brought a lot of enthusiasm and joy to these press conferences, wearing Fitz's jersey and, playing with the media and joking around. He's a beaten down guy. And I think a lot of the linemen, the offensive linemen for the Dolphins, are beaten down emotionally and physically. I think the running backs on this team that have been on here for a little while, they're Lindsey and Duke haven't suffered enough yet. You know what I mean? So they're not that beaten down yet. But the other guys, I just think there's a lot of that going on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the linemen.
Yeah, the still shot on the Miami Dolphins YouTube page of Tua's press conference looks like someone shot his dog. Like he looked distraught. And is it because of how he played against Tennessee? Is it because of his future with the team? I don't know what it is, but he, like you said, he was completely at the beginning of the year and last year completely different, joking around. And the offensive line, the coaching, it's so simple because the things that are getting our offensive line the most is stunts. And last week, they put in Solomon Kinley at left guard. And again, it was the stunt. He blocked the right guy. Then that guy went to the outside, and then he blocked the inside. And they released blockers to go hit Tua, and then they double block one guy. It's the simplest things that you can coach with these stunts. Look, you stay where you are. You pass the guy over, and you stay where you are. It's simple. So we'll see. We'll see how, because today's game there's spoilers. We can beat the Patriots again. First time sweeping them in a long time. The last 3-4 years, every time we've beaten the Patriots, it's hurt them. Like in 2019, we beat them, and then the Titans beat them, knocked them out. Last year, we beat them, knocked them out of the playoffs. I think it was 2015. We beat them week 17. They had to go to Denver versus Denver go to them. They lost that game. So the Dolphins still have something to play for, playing spoiler. And then it'll be the first time since 2000, 2001 that we have had back-to-back winning seasons. So
That would be nice. It
Kind
would
of
be.
hang your hat on that. And then,
Although, dude, there's I hate to be a negative Nelly on this one, but I am so terrified. Human nature says you have nothing to play for,
Mhm.
and if the Patriots somehow physically early on beat them down with the running game, because that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah.
Because they have masterfully put Mac Jones in third and short all year long. They've made it all manageable for him. They've kept him in the box that way, and it's been genius on their part. That's been the right way to do things with him at this point right now where he's at in his career, and they're winning. And so if that formula continues today and they're having success running the ball, I'm afraid of that breaking the will of the Dolphins. And just human nature is like, man, we got nothing to play for. And then, you got thumped last week, and you just wonder if that happens. So I believe they're going to have early success
Mhm.
to kind of keep that mental focus in the second half. That's just me.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like you said, at some point, what's the point of putting my body on the line? What am I fighting for here? None of the stuff that I was just talking about affects a player. They don't give a crap about having back-to-back winning seasons.
Right.
They don't give a crap about draft picks and all that. They don't care. At the end of the day, they got to go home and they got to take care of themselves physically. So, like you said, if they're down like 21-3 at halftime, they are mentally. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Flores starts putting backups in at that point. All right, let's see who we have essentially.
Right. Yeah. By the way, the Packers lost 37-30
Jeez.
to the Detroit Lions, but they didn't need the game.
No.
So, that's why they didn't care. They have the number 1 seed anyways at 13-4. So to them, they didn't really need the game. Jordan Love, by the way, threw 2 interceptions in that game. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in that game. So that's another one of those guys that was out there in the NFL draft. All right, so what are you picking today, Dougie? What's the prediction today? Do our Dolphins end on a high or a low?
I think home throwback jerseys. I think they're going to win this one. I think that they're going to get in Mac Jones' face. My biggest fear is the run game. We can stop the run game. Dolphins will win this game because Mac Jones doesn't scare me. There's nothing he does that is scary. So but he gets a run game, and then we have to worry about play action stuff like that. That's when it gets scary. So I think Dolphins will shut down the run, and I think they'll win. I think it'll be close though. I think I'm going to say like 2014 Dolphins win.
Yeah, I agree too. Not that I would play the game, but I also think it'll be a close game, and hopefully they find a way to pull it off at the end. I worry about the first half of the game setting the tone.
Yeah,
and if they're in it, like if they do stop the run, like you said, then I'm going to feel really good about the Dolphins. But if I see them pummeling the Dolphins and running the ball on them, that's going to get me really, really nervous about this game, unfortunately, because I'm with you. I don't fear Mac Jones.
No.
I think our secondary can do a job on Mac Jones, maybe even turn him over and everything, pressure him and all that kind of stuff. But if they don't stop the run, there's no shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's over because you're gonna allow him to play the manageable game, and he's good enough to win that game already for you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, tell them about the show, Doug. Since
yes,
we do it
sir.
Go ahead.
YouTube.com/DouglyDoWrong. Me and Big O every Tuesday get together Monday, record it, put it out Tuesday, talk about everything that happens the week before. We're still going to be doing shows in the off season.
Yes.
Don't you worry.
Yes.
Might not be every week, but we're still doing shows in the off season. And I got a lot going on.
And maybe we'll trade off. Maybe we'll do it on my show, and then we'll do it on his show, and then that way. Because now during the season we've been now trading off, where I go on his show and he comes on the pregame here with us. So maybe what we'll do throughout the off season, we'll alternate and we'll be on each other's show, and we'll have some fun on that.
I'm excited.
That might be a better way.
Yeah, this week I got a lot of reviewing going on. Like I said, me and Big O, we're going to review the season. Then I'm going to review the season. I'm going to review Tua in its own video with Brian Flores. I got a lot going on, so if you want to check it out, go over to youtube.com/DouglyDoWrong.
There you go. Doug, as always, appreciate you, bro. Enjoy the show, my friend, and have a great broadcast on the postgame.
Thanks, bud.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go, Dougly Do Wrong, man. Good stuff. As always appreciate him taking some time here to join us on the program. Remember, you can always make a donation, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. please smash the like button. It is very important you smash the like button on the show. Gets the algorithms going. More Dolphin fans find out about the show. Heat fans, Marlins fans, Panther fans, Canes fans, so they can get on board and follow us. So please smash the hell out of that like button. It is very, very important. You got some questions? Send them in on the YouTube chat board. Send them in on the text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, plenty of ways to get in on the show. Twitter, Big O Show is the other way that you can get in on the show. Let me see. And by the way, if you do send it through Cash App or Venmo, you can also send in your question there, and I'll read it through Cash App or Venmo. There you go. What else do we have here? Let me see here. The problem on the text line, 855-912-1056, he says the problem with Ross is he has a habit of flaunting his money by wasting it on inexperienced coaches. Yeah, well, hopefully he'll get an experienced one this time around. Big O, I agree. Flo must go. I'm a Finns fan from the 90s. I get it. Good job. Say that again, Big O. You killed it. He says, what do you see as a head coach for Miami? Believing in your QB, one and all, being a fan. Listen, I told you, I don't even know if they're going to make a coaching change at all. Okay? I feel if they're smart, they'll make the coaching change. If not, then everybody will get changed the following year, because I don't expect anything to change if you bring back Flores, to be quite honest. I don't think he can build a staff. So I've already said it many times. Go get yourself a veteran type coach, a Jim Caldwell, a Jack Del Rio type, an experienced coach that's got a fat Rolodex, got experience, has been around the league, knows a ton of coaches, knows up-and-coming coaches, knows everything going on in the coaching world. Those are the kind of guys I believe you need to add for the Miami Dolphins. That's just me. Now, look, man, we're all in this situation now where whether you believe in Flo or not, whether you believe in Greer and company or not, whether you believe in Tua or not, and there's just it's a crazy discussion because many of us are on different sides of the fence for a lot of these things. We're not really all on the same side thinking the same way because it's sports, baby. Sports is subjective. You see it differently than somebody else. That's all. Tank McBride says, Big O, they should hire me. I can coach them from my couch. Now, that's a talent. See, Tank McBride is the man because he can do it from the couch. See, that's a modern-day coach now because you got people working from home and stuff like that, Sean, right? They're running their businesses. They're doing all stuff from home. They're not really going into the office as much. So Tank McBride is a modern-day coach now, right from the couch. I like that. So Tank McBride's way of pacing is pacing back and forth from the kitchen. To make it, he opens the fridge, he thinks about it, he says, yeah, let's go for it on fourth down. Grabs that beer, walks right back.
I like it.
Right? I
like
mean,
it.
That's my kind of coach.
No second guessing.
I say Tank McBride for the next Dolphins head coach. I mean, there's nothing like a guy on a couch with a Pabst Blue Ribbon making calls. I mean, come on. Let's go. Bring it on. Jonathan Dill says, we need no more coordinators and assistants. We need a coach with a proven track record. Anyways, Clay says, how do you feel about the Watson trade rumors? Are you for it? There are no rumors, sir. There are no trades, no nothing. Wait till he actually is through his legal issues, and then we can talk. You know what I'm saying? So when he gets through his legal issues, then we can talk. But right now, there's nothing to it because he's got a whole bunch of problems. And I don't think they'll be solved by March. Okay? I didn't think they would be solved by the beginning of the season like Drew Rosenhaus thought. I didn't think they would be solved by the trading deadline like Mike Florio and Drew Rosenhaus thought. And I don't even think they'll be resolved by March. They depose him in February. That doesn't mean it's over. There's 22 civil lawsuits and 10 criminal investigations. And we don't know what else lurks. This is going to drag on for a while. And with COVID and all that, it's delayed everything in the world. We had to fix our sliding glass door. It took 6 months. 6 months it took. No steel. Floby starting slow says, and thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, I don't want Harbaugh near the Fins, but I pray someone asks Flo if he's worried about being replaced. Then he can feel what the QB's been feeling. I mean, that's part of it. I know a lot of people have been bringing that up, that, Flo is going to experience some of what Tua has been going through. I hope he doesn't. I hope he just gets fired, period, is what I hope it happens. That's when I'm going to feel good that the Dolphins are headed in the right direction. Right now, I am convinced that the Dolphins, with that coach, will never get where they want to go at all. Okay? Unfortunately. So, what are you going to do? What else do we have here? For those that saw Varsity Blues, the team should do what they did. We ain't coming out from halftime if Flo remains. So if he gets cleared up, you take him? No, you got to see what the deal is. Well, what's the offers? You know what I mean? I personally would not trade for him because you got to give up all that capital and you got to give up the money, and you're not going to have what you need to build around him now. So personally, for me, see, that's the problem. I'm not a prisoner of the moment. A lot of you are prisoners of the moment. That's why things in life happen and people react so, oh my God, everything's panicking. We've got to buy every toilet paper roll in the world because that's how this world is. We overreact and we do all these kind of things and we think like that. I'm not that guy. I'm not really up for trading for Watson. I'm up for firing Flo, buying 2 of the top linemen in free agency / trade, okay, and get me real coaches and draft a running back, and the Dolphins will be a playoff team next year with Tua. But if you don't get the real coaches and the real line, it's not going to happen. And I don't believe Flo is a real coach that can put together a staff, and he has failed to build an offensive line with that offensive line coach and coordinators. So that's where I stand. I'm good where they're at with the quarterback. Where I'm not good at is how they're going about building around him. They have a coach that is getting in the way and not helping. And that's the problem. But again, it's up to all of you out there how you feel. Everybody's a little different. Some of you think that Flo isn't the problem, that Greer's the problem. Some of you think Ross is really the whole problem. Some of you think it's just Tua. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's kind of, and time is going to answer it all, man. That's the sad part. All right, let's get ready for the game. Let's hope the boys get it done today and give us a happy post-game show. We will see you on the post-game show live from Sportsgrill on Bird Road at 114th. We'll have Flo's press conference. We'll have Tua's press conference and anything else. Plus, Omar Kelly, Cameron Wolf, and Alan Poupar, our insiders, will join us on the post-game show. Final regular season game for the Miami Dolphins. We'll see you on the other side. Go Fins.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sportsgrill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sportsgrill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sportsgrill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sportsgrill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge it tuned